Good morning, Vanada. Today we are going to see the smart electric grid architecture, then Indian smart grid journey. Okay, so then we'll see some status of some pilot project as well as some grid projects are there. Then what are the challenges and opportunities we are having? Okay, so we are going to see in this, we are going to see vision of our smart grid. Then what are the differences between smart grid and conventional grid? What are the updates we have done in the smart grid? Then after that, we are going to see the architecture of past grid, present grid, and the future electric grid. We are also going to see. Then what are the today's grid limitations? What are the essential elements we need to consider in the smart grid? This is what talks about the introduction. Then in the Indian smart grid journey, we are going to discuss about national smart grid three-tier structure is there. Then the status of smart grid pilot projects we will see, and status of some smart grid projects. Pilot projects in the sense before going into the bigger scale or larger scale. So first, initially, the Indian government has initiated some pilot projects. Those are in a small scale. The budget is within some 10 to 15 lakhs. Okay, so first they have started some pilot projects. Then they have moved to a larger scale. Okay, we are going to see first status of smart grid pilot projects. What are these? And then we will look after status of the smart grid projects on a bigger scale, what they have implemented. Then we will see the key challenges and opportunities. We'll see. If time permits, I would like to discuss on the impact assessment of smart grid projects deployed in the India. There is a Quality Council of India is there. So they have assessed all these projects, pilot projects and smart grid projects. We're also going to see what that assessment says.
Mikilis, a small interruption. Here down notes is visible, na, sir? Beside zooming. Beside zooming. Like book symbol is there, na, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
Click that one, sir. Beside books, book symbol is there, na, sir? Beside zooming down.
What do you want?
It is not. I mean, slide screens also showing, sir. So the screen is visible, a small one.
1 minute.
Here beside the zoomer option, one book symbol is there, na, sir? Down only, sir.
Yeah.
There. Side one.
Zooming.
The side one press is not that one. Yes.
Reading view. That is.
It's okay now.
Reading view is okay for you. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible full screen now.
Yes, sir. It's very fine, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem, sir.
Okay. So we will see even Indian smart grid journey. So we'll see the challenges. Time permits. I'm going to discuss on what is the impact assessment of smart grid pilot projects by Quality Council of India. So what they have assessed and what they have reported about these all projects also we are going to see. Then after that we are going to see. So after that now they have came from central to state level. State level, what are the project management units are there? What are the functions of state level project management units? That means DISCOMs. What is the functions? Okay, and what are the objectives and what are the outcomes? Then we will see global technology trends. At present, what are the global technology trends are there? Okay, without delay, I'm going to start. So smart grid vision for in India. So in the smart grid vision for India, the main vision is to transform the Indian power sector into a secured, adaptive, sustainable and digitally enabled ecosystem. Secure power is required. One is safety and security of power is required. Second one is it should be adaptive in nature. Third one is the power should be sustainable for a longer period. And fourth one is it should be digitally enabled. That means whatever the power thefts are happening earlier, we need to lock it. That means we should provide the secure power. Then it should be adaptive in nature. What it is, with the help of fax devices and other power electronic circuits converters, we are going to make it adaptive in nature with the help of advanced metering infrastructures, smart meters. So it will be adaptive in nature. One more thing, third one is sustainability. So for a longer period, the system should be sustainable. smart grid. So in such a way, we need to design the metering structures. Then it should be digitally enabled. That means it should be a two-way communication we are going to see. So the smart grid vision is transforming the Indian power sector into a secure, adaptive, sustainable and digitally enabled ecosystem, which provides reliable and quality energy. It should provide the reliable and quality energy for all the stakeholders who are participating. I hope it is clear. Our main motto is to provide the reliable and quality energy to the stakeholders. For that one, so this is our motto for the entire session. Okay, so we are going to see. Now, what is a smart grid? As I told you, smart grid uses the information as well as communication technology. Smart grid uses information and the communication technology to acquire the data. First, we will acquire the data from the fields. Remote terminal units will be there. First, we will acquire the information. Okay. So to acquire the data, we are using the information and communication technology, ICT we are using. And based on the information we receive, we will act on that information about the behavior of the suppliers, how the consumers are there. So in an automated fashion, we are going to work on it. Okay. So generally, if we talk about the application is in computer intelligence, networking abilities will be there. Okay. Compared to the previous conventional grid, in the smart grid, we are going to consider communication technology, intelligence technology, networking capabilities, and the digital behavior. Okay. So by keeping so, we are fully making it as a smarter system compared to previous conventional system. So now you see here. Now what I'm doing is, earlier I was having a generation, a transmission, and there is a distribution was there. This was a previous system. So earlier there was a data operator was there, as you are knowing. There was a data operators were there. There was no SCADA system. Now what I'm doing, I'm merging my communication network into energy networks. So here down, if you see, this is my communication network. So what I'm doing, by merging my energy network and communication network, I can able to get real-time simulation. How it is possible? Based on, I will acquire the data with the communication network. That means more sensors I am providing into the system, more communication technology and information technology I'm keeping into the system in such a way that I can do my real-time simulations can be possible at each and every fields. I can do the real-time simulation, but because it is a two-way communication. Earlier it was one-way communication earlier. Now by merging these two, it is becoming a two-way communication. So real-time simulation is possible. Then wide area reliability will improve. So that's what my motto. First slide, if you see, my motto is the reliable, the power I want to provide, reliable and quality power. So to make the reliability improve, wide area reliability is improved, and with the help of real-time simulation, I can make sure the quality. By making so, network optimization I'm doing. By doing real-time simulation and wide area reliability, network optimization also I can able to do. That means, so unnecessary feeders, unnecessary things can be removed, and which one need to be upgraded, no? With the recent trends or recent advancements can be implemented. So network optimization can be done. And by doing this real-time simulation, wide area reliability and network optimization, the more number of customers I can attract, so customer participation will increase. And then because of that, we can participate in the energy markets also. So by participating in the energy markets, I can increase the revenue from these electric systems, a smart electric grid. I hope it is clear. We can do the real-time simulation. Wide area reliability is improved with the help of merging energy networks with the communication networks. Reliability improved, optimization is increased. We can attract the more customers, stakeholders, and we can also participate in the energy markets. So to do this, what changes we have done? So just I will show you earlier how the conventional grid was there. So how we are making it to a smart grid. So earlier, if you see in the conventional grid, it was electromechanical. It was electromechanical, but now the smart grid, we are using entire thing is digital nature. That's why first one, digitally enabled. So we are making smart grid digital system. And earlier it was only one-way communication. So the lineman or the engineer, assistant engineer used to get the data. This used to track the data, one-way communication. They want to go to the fields and they used to get the data. But nowadays it is becoming two-way communication. With the help of ICT, information and communication technology, it is becoming two-way communication. And earlier it was centralized generation. It used to be only generating stations, it used to generate. Now DGs have came into the picture. So because of PV and EV systems involved in the electric networks, so because of DG, distributed generation, now it is becoming more smarter. And one more thing, earlier conventional grid was having only few sensors. It used to give only currents, voltages, few parameters only, that too few RTs only it was having the sensors. But now throughout the network, more number of sensors we have used. That's the reason network optimization was possible. Wide area reliability is increased due to more sensors throughout the network. And earlier it was manual monitoring and manual restoration was there. But now it is self-monitoring and self-healing can be possible. With that one, real-time simulation can be possible. And earlier, more number of failures and blockouts were happened. But now, it is adaptive in nature. With islanding condition also, I can work. And earlier it was limited control. We don't have any control on the system. But here, it is a pervasive control. We can look after each and every corner or every area. I will have a control. So because of these advantages, so it will become a many customers' choice. So that's what. So our smart grid is digitally enabled. It's a two-way communication, distributed generated DGs are there in the system, and there are sensors throughout the network. Self-monitoring, self-healing is possible. It is adaptive in nature, and it will work with the islanding conditions. It is fully automated and controlled, and it is becoming choice for many customers because of reliable and quality power. Now, if you see the past grid, everyone knows there was only thermal was there earlier, conventional power systems. Then it was generated. If you see here, there is an information flow and there is a power flow. So the power generated was transmitted through a transmission system. Then it is distributed. In the distribution, there is a residential, commercial, and industrial loads were there. But here, there was a telephonic operator was there in the past. He used to get the data from all the fields, from generation, from the transmission, from the distribution. If there is any mistake is there, then or any fault is there, he used to call to the linemen or other people. He used to alert the people. They used to go and do manually. It was past electric grid. In the past electric grid, it was one-way communication. It is manual control. It was manual control. Now, in the present days, at the generation itself, now we have added non-conventional sources. Either it was conventional, at present, now we have added PVs and wind. That means non-conventional energy sources we have added into the generation. And here one more thing was, it is replaced with, instead of a telephonic information, instead of a manual operator, we have used SCADA system, supervisory controlling and data acquisition. So we have used computer-based system is established. Now we are able to do, here one is transmission control center will be there. There is a distribution control system is there. Okay. And here the SCADA system at present we have implemented. And in the load, even if you see earlier, there was nothing. Here, if you see at present, there is a rooftop PV we are having, and slowly we are also going into the electric vehicles also. That means DG we have started in the present days. Try to understand. Wind is at utility level only. PV is all scale. At generation side, even at the load side also we are considering PV system. Not only PV system, at the load side we are also considering EVs into the system. We are considering Okay. Now, in the future, what will be the future? Now, not only in the future smart electric grid, we are going to consider, along with the conventional, conventional PV and wind, we are also going to consider small hydropower along with EVs. If you see, earlier it is now in the present situation, it is limited to only residential level. Now in the future, we are going to consider charging stations throughout the network. Throughout the network, we are going to consider charging infrastructure. Now at present, we are not having charging infrastructure. Now they are going to consider the charging infrastructure throughout the network. That means from generation to till the distribution, there are different charging stations they are going to consider. So distribution generation can happen through PVs as well as EVs also. And one more thing is, along with EVs, PVs, in future, they are also going to consider storage. At transmission level, at distribution level, they are also going to consider a storage. So it is fully automated, more number of sensors they are going to consider. So we are considering conventional, non-conventional energies, not only at the generation level, at the utility level, even at the distribution and transmission also we are considering EVs, PVs in the network. Even I can consider rooftop, household purpose, rooftop, office buildings I can consider. Even if you see, people are giving the incentives, even I can consider smart building, not only smart home, smart building application I can work. We are talking about smart grid. Here in future, it is going to enable not only smart grid application, smart home, smart building application, smart apartment, or smart office, whatever it may be called. So along with the smart grid, we are going to consider smart home and smart building applications also. Okay, in that it includes EV PV integration with EV electric vehicles and PV integration with the grid. So to do EV PV integration with the grid, we need certain DC-DC converters, inverter topologies. So you can see in the further slides. So by considering better DC-DC converters, inverter topologies, and battery energy storage systems, BESS, okay, better battery management systems, better converters, better inverter topologies, by considering, we can make not only grid connected PV system, we can make EV PV integrated grids also we can make. That means smart grid, smart home is combination of EV, PV and a grid. Okay, so now you see. So past it was a system operator. In the present situation, we are considering SCADA system. In future, it is fully becoming fully automated. Now, so what are the today's grid limitations? If you see here, we are having present hydro, that this is a generation. If you see transmission and distribution is there. The problem is today's grid limitations are consumers are lack of information. Utilities are lack of mechanism to influence our consumer behavior. First thing is consumers are lack of information. There is no proper information to the people what are all the advancements are happening in the smart grid application, or what is the advancements happening in the PV, what are the advancements happening in the EV system. So consumers are lack of information, basic information. First, we need to provide the awareness. Second one, utilities lack of mechanism to influence the consumer behavior. Third one is we have limited clean power and limited energy storage is there. So these are our main grid limitations. So to avoid these drawbacks, what we need to consider, what are all the essential elements to be considered to make your system smarter. So those are, so deep energy efficiency need to be considered. I need to look after demand management. So how much amount of load is there, how much amount of available power is there, how to do the peak loading conditions. Okay, then grid intelligence need to be considered. So grid intelligence means we need to consider information and communication technology into the throughout network. More sensors has to be considered. We need to make the grid intelligently enabled, like with a two-way communication. So whenever the smart fault is happened, quickly it should give you a pop-up, so that quickly it should be automatically, it should be changed over to another parallel circuit. So grid intelligence is required. Then clean power, in the clean power, EVs, PVs need to be considered, and energy storage. I will explain you. In the energy efficiency, we need to take cost-effective steps. That means we are using high energy use of loads are there, HVAC, other things are there. So we need to look after by considering which element, or by considering which FACTS device, or by considering which component or which meter, the efficiency will be improved. I should look after it. So which will be replaceable. How to improve the efficiency of your particular network, I need to see. What is the best use? So I need to look after the efficiency. That means I need to reduce the losses. For that one, the mitigation of a power loss has to be taken care. So that is the reason, if you take about the PVs, there is to mitigate the losses during partial shading conditions, other cases. People are going about configurations, reconfiguration techniques, how to consider the configurations. So there are different technologies are coming out. So how to use those technologies to improve the efficiency of your network. So we need to see the energy efficiency. And second one is demand side management has to be looked after. Earlier it was communications through the wired communication was there. Now people are going for wireless communication. With the help of wireless communication, even I can reduce the conduction losses. And I need to see what are the curtailable loads, when to consider these loads, when to remove, and I need to consider smart meters, and also I need to consider aggregation of intelligence. Then as a grid intelligence, as I told you already, so SCADA integration has to be considered. I need to monitor the entire network. I need to control the entire network. So this is what. Now for the clean power, as I told you, you see, now clean power, what I'm considering here is, if you see here, there is wind is considered at utility scale, and PV is considered throughout the network, even at generation, at the distribution level also. So to make the system more clean power, then I can consider non-conventional energy sources can be considered, along with even EVs also can be considered. By considering electric vehicles, the reduction in the oil consumption is possible. So by reducing the oil consumption, EVs, if I consider, oil consumption will be reduced, so that carbon emission will be reduced. Okay, but the problem is charging infrastructure is required. That is one challenge. So, and one more thing, energy storage, how much we are generating is not a problem. So the excess amount has to be stored. So we also look after the energy storage. That's why if you see the previous slide, in the future grid, we have considered non-conventional energy sources, EVs, PVs throughout the network. Not only that, we have also considered energy storage. By doing so, we can reduce the losses. So these are the essential elements. So future in the smart grid, in the foundation, if you see, we have to look after IT infrastructure. We have to look after IT infrastructure, the telecommunication infrastructure, that means LAN, WAN, those things I need to see. Then circuit topology. So how many number of feeders are there? How to upgrade that feeders? How to upgrade the substations? What elements need to be considered? What metering infrastructure need to be considered? One thing is, I need to look after the basic infrastructure, what is available, that is circuit topology. So energy level, like what type of feeders are there? What type of substations are there? What type of circuit breakers are there? Everything I need to look after circuit wise. Second thing is, after basic componenting is completed or basic designing is completed, then I need to look after telecommunication. I need to see. So communication protocols, like as I told you, information and communication technology we are using for two-way communication. So I also looked after not only energy network, I need to look after the communication network. Okay, in that, advanced communication networks has to be considered. By considering these things, I can enable this fundamental application. I can look after this fundamental application. What is that is? Smart meters has to be considered. By using IT and communication technology and this updated circuit topology, smart meters will be developed. Okay, and data management system has to look after, and distribution automation, data management, as I told you earlier, these all things has to be considered. Now here, by considering these fundamental applications, smart meters, data management system, and distribution management system, substation automation, gasoline bulbs, by considering these things, I can make smart grid application and smart home application, home area networks, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, energy storage, distributed generation through EVs, PVs, and optimization reactive power optimization, reactive power compensation applications can be looked after. Okay, by doing these things, now by considering plug-in electric vehicles, smart grid applications, smart home applications, rooftop PVs, I can enable demand response can be reduced whenever the peak load is there. So with the help of plug-in electric vehicles, with the help of smart grid, smart home applications, rooftop PVs, all these things, with the help of DGs, demand response, microgrid response, and efficiency, everything will be improved. So this is what the future of smart grid. So we are looking after, one thing is circuit topology. We are also looking after information and communication technology. By considering this, we have developed some smart meters and phase measuring units, and fully substation will be automated. Then after that, we are enabling electric vehicles, PVs, their configurations, converters, inverter topologies, and fax devices we are considering. By considering everything, our main motto is to satisfy the demand response, to increase the efficiency, mainly to provide secure, adaptive, and digitally enabled power I want to provide, to make it more reliable and quality power. That's it. So this is what the main thing people are going to consider for a future. Now, I hope these things you understood. So these are my overall central level. These are the things what we have to do. This will be the smart grid applications. Okay. So that's why wide area situation awareness has to be provided. That's what the policy. And demand response, electric storage, electric transportation. So these are all the things we need to consider. So by looking all this, now where we are, that means we want to see Indian smart grid journey. So these are the main things I want to consider, but how much we have reached, we are going to see. NSGM. So in this, we are going to see National Smart Grid Mission, 3-day structure we will see. Then what is the mission of this NSGM? What is the journey we have done in Indian power sector, journey till date in the NSGM? Then what are the status of smart grid pilot projects we are going to see? Then status of smart grid projects we are going to see. What are the key challenges and opportunities we will see. Okay, I hope it is clear. So I'm moving now. Fine, can I move? So as a whole, I want to just brief you 1 minute. Vision is to provide secure, adaptive, and sustainable and digitally enabled ecosystem for a reliable and quality energy. For this, I'm using ICT technology, the information and communication technology, to make system more smarter. So that's why I have merged my energy network with a communication technology. By doing so, real-time simulation, wide area reliability improved, network optimization is possible, customer participation is possible, and participation in the energy market also possible for me. So this is what enabled. So in the smart grid, what I consider is, it is digital, two-way communication, DGs have considered, sensors I have considered throughout the network, self-healing, self-monitoring, adaptive in nature, which is fully controlled and choice for many customers. So it was fast, there was operator was there, controlling was difficult, and it was one-way communication, and it was power was generated at only centrally. It was central, only one place it was generated. Whereas in the present, power not only central generation, even DGs have come. DGs may be not only at the central level, it is at the distribution level also we have generated. Now we are using SCADA system. It is not fully automation, but SCADA system at present we are using. Now in the future, what we are considering, along with conventional, non-conventional sources, we are also using EVs, batteries we are using into the system. Okay, so this is what we have seen. These are the limitations, grid limitation. These are the essential elements need to be considered. So our essential elements is we are going to look after deep energy efficiency, demand side management, intelligent grid we are going to consider, then clean power, EVs and PVs. These are my applications. Now, to meet these applications, what Indian power sector has done, we are going to see. I hope is it fine for you. Now, in NSGM, National Smart Grid Mission, there is a three-tier structure is there. For implementing the power sector policies, we have a three-tier structure. In the tier 1, there is a governing council will be there. It is a three-tier structure, as I told you. In the tier 1, there is a governing council will be there. The entire power sector will be headed by a Ministry of Power and new renewable energy systems. He is our Central Minister of Power will be there. He is the Central Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy Sources. He is the main governing council in the tier 1. Now, under him, there is 2 committees will be there. There is a tier 2. In the tier 2, there are 2 committees will be there who is working under the Central Minister of Power. One is Secretary, who will look after empowered committee. Financial things will be taken care by the Secretary of Ministry of Power. Whereas technical details will be taken care by the chairperson of Central Electricity Authority, a power grid director. He is the power grid director. Technical committee will be headed by the director of power grid. That is, he is the chairperson of Central Electricity Authority. So, in the tier 1, we are having governing council, is the Ministry of Power. In the tier 2, we are having 2 committees. One is of technical committee headed by power grid chairman or director. Second one is finance will be taken care by Secretary of Ministry of Power. Now, under this technical committee and finance committee, there is a third tier. In the tier 3, NSGM director or NSGM project management unit will be there. National Smart Grid Mission. National Smart Grid Mission is there, NSGM. NSGM director will be under these people, he will work. Okay, so there is a project management units are there. There are mainly 4 projects they are handling. Okay, so NSGM project management unit consists of 4 project management units. One is deals with policies. What will be the new policies we are having? What is the planning? Policies, planning and monitoring unit. That means to make your system sustainable. As I told you in the first slide, the smart grid should be sustainable for longer period. To make sustainable, what policy should be considered? To make the system secured and digitally enabled and adaptive in nature, what type of policy I need to consider? What planning is required? And what are the monitoring units are required? Try to understand the policy related issues, planning and monitoring unit will be taken care by one project, one group. I hope is it clear? So what type of policies need to be implemented in the distributed companies? So there are substations are there. So how to upgrade the substation? As I told you earlier, this diagram if you see, so here there is a circuit topology is there. That means upgradation of feeder, upgradation of substation need to be done. So that means substation automation I need to do, distribution management system updation I need to do. Okay, not only distribution management system, grid intelligence has to be taken care and distribution automation also has to be taken care. Now, the first one, policy, planning and monitoring has been taken care by this unit. And now there is second unit is there, that is data management and cyber security. What is data management? Whatever the data is available in the network or remote terminal units. So with the help of SCADA network, with the help of your sensors, you have to acquire the data from the fields and you have to work on it. That's what a smart grid I told you in the earlier. So what we are doing, we are using information, ICT technology, information and communication technology. We will see the data management. So what is the voltage levels? What is the current level? What is the frequency? So how much amount of real power is there? How much amount of reactive power is there? Entire data management, the SCADA system we are providing for this collection of data, for this two-way communication. We are looking after telecommunication infrastructure, and IT infrastructure people will be there in the data management. And one more thing, there are thefts may happen, like without the knowledge there is a theft may also happen. So cyber security units also will be provided. In the communication technology unit, we are also providing cyber security. So one field will be there looking after data management and cyber security. Now one group of people are taking care of policy planning and monitoring. Second group is taking care about data management. They will manage the data and cyber security. Third one, now third unit is looking after in connection with Smart Grid Knowledge Center. There is a Smart Grid Knowledge Center is there in the Manesar. So in connection with the Smart Grid Knowledge Center, there is a R&D, research and development is one unit will be there, and technology we will see, and the standards we will see. Okay, there is IEEE standards, BIS standards will be there. Okay, there are electricity standards are there. Whatever the technology we have developed, whatever the circuits, feeders, upgradation you are doing, the circuit topology you are doing, those are within the limits or not, within the standards or not, we need to see. So that's the reason one unit will look after the standards and units and the new technology. Okay, so what is the research is going on, what developments are happening, what is the new technology, and what standards they have developed. These standards are feasible or not, or this technology is feasible or not, or they are within the limits or not, within the standards or not. So one unit will take care in consultation with Smart Grid Knowledge Center. Okay, then last unit is there is a projects training capacity building unit is there. Before implementing, try to understand, before implementing in a larger scale, so first they will create pilot projects. What is meant by pilot project is small scale projects will be given to the particular fields. It may be particular distributed companies, or it may be already existing. There are 12 pilot projects are there. Before implementing the new technology, before implementing the new standards, or before implementing the new communication or new energy policies, first they will test those policies. So the projects will be, first what we are doing, we are training the people, and capacity building unit we are doing, and we are testing it. Okay, so this testing can be done at different places in consultation with this knowledge center. So first we are doing the policies, planning, monitoring to do. We need R&D help, and technology standards are required. Even to do data management and cyber security, R&D as well as project training and capacity building also required. So our main units are policy planning, monitoring, data management, cyber security, but backbone to this first two is R&D and these pilot projects. So this is what three-tier structure. First one is governing council is there. Under him, there are two will be there. One is technical committee headed by a power grid director, and empower committee taken care by secretary of Ministry of Power. Third one is in the three-tier, director will be there NSGM. Under him, there are some groups will be working on. There are 4 different groups, along with some consultants and advisory bodies also will be there. Now, these are central level. Now coming to the state level. Now state level project management unit, it will be chaired by State Secretary of Power. State level project units, there are distributed companies will be there in different fields. It will be headed by State Secretary. Earlier one was Central Secretary. Here it will be State Secretary will be there. Under that state level units, we are having distributed utilities will be there, and there is a smart grid cell will be there. Now, as I told you, We need to involve more stakeholders. Now here there are consumers, there are local bodies, that means there are government companies and private organizations which are working on the same data management systems, cyber security, maybe policies, planning. Few individual companies may be working on it. Now what will happen? In consultation, state level units in consultation with the advisory bodies will implement all this. In consultation with even state level bodies can be consulted with the secretary. So the implementation is done a mutual interaction. I hope it is fine. State level, this way it will be implemented. Now, same thing I have shown there. Now, a nation smart grid mission, we have seen these are the policies we are having. So we need to implement in the distributed utilities. Now, what is the mission of this smart grid, nation smart grid mission? Now, deployment of smart meters, advanced metering infrastructure I need to deploy. Earlier there was normal meters were there. I'm going to replace these things with the smart meters. Advanced metering infrastructure I want to implement. Second thing is substation renovation and modernization. As I told you here, substation automation. That means substation modernization I want to do. Substation modernization and substation renovation has to be done. Renovation in the sense with the help of advanced metering infrastructure, with the help of smart meters, new things will be adapted into the system. And modernization means I will add new technology into it. Then after that, what I'm doing is development of DGs in the form of rooftop PVs and also EVs. Development of one is deployment of smart meters and advanced metering infrastructure, upgradation of your substation, gas insulated substations, and deployment of DGs throughout the network. It may be transmission, distribution, okay, wherever the possibility is there, development of DGs. And one more thing is real-time monitoring and controlling of distribution transformers. I need to do the SCADA system. Monitoring and controlling has to be done. And one more thing, there should be a provision of harmonic filters. Try to understand, when you consider any of the electrical network, there are nonlinear loads will be there. When there is a non-linearity in the system, oscillations will come and there is a harmonics will increase. So because of harmonic distortion, the efficiency will be reduced, losses will increase, efficiency will be reduced. But most of the loads are nonlinear in nature, inductive loads. So we should have a provision of harmonic filters. That means fax devices, power filters has to be, it may be series filter. There are voltage problems may come, there are current problems may come, there are frequency related issues may come like sag, swell, okay, voltage interruptions may come, or it may be current harmonics may come, or maybe flickers may come, okay. So to avoid these problems, I should have the filters related to series filters are required, shunt filters are required, there are hybrid filters also required. So now again, these filters may be with the help of passive filters I can design or active filters I can design. I can design my harmonic filters with the help of solid state switches, that active switches. So that what will happen, I'm providing a provision of harmonic filters and other power quality improvement measures has to be created in such a way that I can provide the quality power. You remember one thing, first slide when I told you transforming the power sector for a reliable and quality, I have told you. So I need to provide the quality power. Earlier, if you have the power flow, it was fine. But now people are looking after quality power too, not only power flow. So to maintain the quality power, I need to remove the harmonics in the system. It may be voltage or current or frequency related issues. So there should be a provision of harmonic filters. Okay. And one more thing, creation of EV charging infrastructure for supporting the proliferation. Then development of medium-sized microgrids. So National Smart Grid, NSGM, National Smart Grid Mission scope is deployment of smart meters, advanced metering infrastructure, upgradation of substation, development of rooftop PVs, EV charging infrastructures, provision of harmonic filters, monitoring and controlling of distributed transformers, and development of microgrids. These are the scope, what we can do. Next.
Sir, sir, what is gas insulated substation, sir?
Sir, at the end I can explain you, sir. Who is that?
Hello?
You can ask me in the last. You can give in the sidebar. I can explain you in the last, sir. Okay. There are 100 slides. I will explain you. Don't worry. Okay. Now, what is the journey we have to see? Realizing the growing importance of smart grid technologies in the power sector, Ministry of Power in the 2010 they have constituted two forums. One is Smart Grid Task Force, and the second one is Smart Grid Forum. So what Smart Grid Task Force will do? See, if anyone have doubts, you can put it in the chat box, or at the last I will definitely give you some 15 to 20 minutes time so that I will explain it. Okay, I will even revise it. Don't worry. So Smart Grid Task Force, in that what you have done is internal ministerial group has created under the Ministry of Power. That's what I told you in the three-tier structure. In the three-tier structure we have created a Smart Grid Task Force, the tier 3 NSGM. There are policy directions. What direction smart grid initiatives has to be taken? So tier 3 mainly. Okay. Now in the forum, they have created one forum in such a way that it is a non-profit voluntary consortium. They will take input from the stakeholders. They will take queries from the stakeholders in such a way that the objective of this forum is non-profit forum is just to accelerate the development of smart grid technologies. That means if without critics or without what queries or problems they are facing, the advancement is very difficult. So that's why first one is just they have created one task force. That means that's a three-tier structure. This one, third one they have created. They are looking after the policies, and this forum, what they will do, they will take the queries from the stakeholders, then they will try to accelerate the development. Now there are, based on these two the inputs, now there are some pilot projects they have considered. There are 11 smart grid projects are there, and one smart city they have considered. Along with within that 11 there is a knowledge center also there. For these all 12 projects, 50% funding was from the Ministry of Power, and remaining particular state has to take care. Okay, there are 12 pilot projects are there, 5 main grid projects are there. Don't confuse. There are larger scale 5 projects they have implemented. In a small scale, they have considered 12 projects. Okay. And here, and one more thing, as I told you, whenever you want to do these projects, third one is the testing with the standards. Okay. See, there are also several additional initiatives have been taken. Okay, they are working under Central Electricity Authority of India, Bureau of Indian Standards, CPRI, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So now what will happen, whatever you design, it should be within the Indian standards. You should meet these standards. Okay. Now, first, the 11 smart grid projects and smart grid projects under implementation is going on. It's not fully completed. Just it is under Manesar itself only. Everything they have implemented. Remaining all places, it is under implementing stage only. Now, the vision and roadmap was released in 2013. Vision was under roadmap was released in the year of 2013. Smart grid vision. Then smart meter standards. What is the standard of the smart meter? It will be published by the Bureau of Indian Standards in August 2015. So they have initialized it, then they have made some standards. Then after that, these regulations were approved by these people. Then smart grid test bench they have started. Before implementing, as I told you, before implementing, first they will do the projects. The testing has to be done first. if you have the research and development technology, if you are having, first you are looking after the fundamental knowledge, then you are implementing. After before implementing, they will simulations they will do, they will test the standards. Then after testing simulation level, they are going for hardware in loop. Then after hardware in loop, they will go for small scale hardware. Then they will first test it. Once if they like get the approval, then they will going for larger scale. So in the same way here, what they have done is, first they have initiated, they have released the roadmap, then standards they have checked, then some those regularities were approved by these people. Then one bench they have started under CPRI. And one more thing, a smart grid knowledge center was developed under this power grid in Manesar it is. Then functionalities and specification of smart meters, they have finally finalized after testing. First they have published it with the research knowledge, then it's approved, but they tested it. After testing again, after with the help of knowledge center, then the functional specifications in hardware, how it is working, everything was monitored and finalized. Now you see, here we are having 5 smart grid projects. One is in Chandigarh, subdivision 5. If you see here, Chandigarh, no, so there are 2 projects are there in the Chandigarh. One is subdivision 5 they have considered, then Chandigarh excluding the subdivision 5, one more project there, that is there. That means in Chandigarh itself 2 projects they have started. But the thing is, the implementation of the parameters are different in the both places. Like few meters they have tested. What is that? I'll tell you. Thiruvananthapuram, the Kochi, they have started, but it is abandoned in the middle. Now this is not there. In Kochi, they are not continuing at all. It was stopped. But at present, only 4 are live. One is in Jharkhand, one is in Orissa, other 2 are in Chandigarh. Okay. So now in the subdivision 5, what they have considered, they have targeted 30,000 consumers, and functionalities I will see. I'm not going to read anything. Advanced metering infrastructure they have considered. Okay, substation automation. Oh, okay. Here anyway it is coming. I'll tell you. Substation automation in the sense, the gas insulated substation we are considering with the high voltage levels. What it means, not just 11 or 33 kV. In high voltage level, what they will do, they are considering SF6 gases. Earlier they were having, we are having these things only. Which one? Oil circuit breakers, air blast circuit breakers we were having. But now these are high voltage substation circuit breakers. They are now with the sealed environment of dielectric gas they are concerned. That is SF6, sulfur hexafluoride they are considering, and they are making into high level systems. Okay, so substation automation they are doing, and integration of rooftop and distribution transformer monitoring. These 4 functionalities they have adapted. By considering advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA system, rooftop PV, and monitoring of these things, they have reduced the losses, aggregation of transmission and commercial losses. Okay, technical you may call it as technical and commercial losses. These are technical in the sense any theft is happened, what is the power quality issues. The consumer losses are how much you are able to, what I can say, bill, how much you have billed, how much is vomited. So the entire thing, technical and commercial losses are reduced by considering advanced metering infrastructure. Instead of normal going and noting down, by considering advanced metering infrastructure, so how the losses are reduced, technical and commercial consumer losses. Then improvement of availability. Then whenever the peak load is there, with the help of SCADA system, with the integration of rooftop PVs, what happened during the peak, our rooftop is able to take certain amount of load. So there is a reduction in the peak load. Try to understand. The burden is reduced because of integration of rooftop in the system. The reduction of peak load is happened. And one more thing is, by monitoring the distribution transformers, the billing and collection efficiency is improved. That means AT&C losses are reduced in the sense billing is improved and collection is efficiency is improved. Okay, here total cost was 28 crores and NSGM has given 8 crores. Now this is subdivision 5 of Chandigarh. In remaining Chandigarh, what they have considered, along with advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA they have considered. Earlier billing was not automated. Here metering, billing and collection is automation they have considered. in that particular place. Metering, billing, and collection is automation they have considered. Okay, geographical information they have taken. Call center also they have established. In subdivision 5, they have just rooftop PV, integration, advanced metering infrastructure, monitoring they have done. But here, metering, billing, collection, everything automation they have done, and call center also they have established. So here what is happened is definitely losses are reduced, efficiency is improved, and the peak load power is reduced. This is what. Here they have spent 241 crores, out of which 72 crores is given by NSGM. Coming to the Kochi, they have considered almost all what it is: advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA, peak load management, DT monitoring, distribution generations, rooftop, EV charging, everything they have considered. Almost all functions they have adapted. But they failed to continue actually. Now it is stopped actually. With the 90 crores of initial, they have seen certain losses are reduced, peak load is reduced, and integration of DG is possible. Okay. But somehow it is stopped, Kochi. In Ranchi city also, advanced metering infrastructure, DT monitoring, mobile-based consumer portal they have considered. There are certain improvements were happened. Even Rourkela, same thing. Almost same as of Chandigarh, what they have considered. They have considered advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA, geographical information, and mobile-based consumer portal they have considered. Better consumer relationship, increased efficiency, losses are reduced. Okay, so these are the things, 5 main projects in hundreds of crores. But whereas before coming to these 5 projects, they have implemented some pilot projects, smart grid pilot projects were there. Okay, so those projects are subdivision 5 and small amount. Before implementing this complete Chandigarh, first they have initialized it with subdivision 5. Then Jharkhand, Ranchi, they have considered consumers of 3.6 lakhs, advanced metering infrastructure, and distributed transformer monitoring units they have considered. Okay. Oh, okay, sorry, these things. Then these things, 12 are Ajmer, Assam, pilot projects, Mysore, Himachal Pradesh, Puducherry, Tripura, Telangana, Haryana, Gujarat, West Bengal, and this smart city is IIT Kanpur, and knowledge center is Manesar. Okay, 12 projects are Ajmer, Assam, Mysore, Himachal Pradesh, Puducherry. These small projects are IIT Kanpur smart city. The project is completed. It is situated in the IIT Kanpur. 11 crores they had given. Okay, and what they have implemented I will show you in the next slide. And even Mysore also, the project was completed. Haryana project is completed. So knowledge center, all they have considered. What is that? AMIs, OMS, everything. I will show you next slide. Okay, in Gujarat it is completed. Puducherry it is just going on. Even West Bengal also it will go on live. Tripura, just they have DPR have submitted. Even Telangana they have DPR they have submitted. It is in GDMetla. 34 crores it is. Even Assam they have declared. So only few have completed. A few more the work is going on. Okay. That implementation slide is in the next year. Within 2-3 slides it will come. I will show you what they have implemented. Now the mission of this smart grid is they have planned NSGM to plan and monitor implementation of the policies and programs related to smart grid activities. Then they have considered project NSGM project management unit. It is housed in the power grid, single point contact from the government of India. Okay, and NSGM have its own sources, resources, and authority functional finance. And the first 12th plan, 980 crores with a budget support of 338 crores that they had given. So here, by considering all these pilot projects, they have implemented. Now I will explain you assessment. In that I will explain you all these pilot projects, what they have considered. Now, by considering these things, they have understood that there are certain key challenges were there. What is that key challenges? In the pilot stage, we are lack of skills because to implement that advanced metering infrastructure. So in the knowledge center, the research and development they are doing. But whereas consumers are our local distributed company people, they are unaware of the technology, a lack of skill and readiness in the utilities. What it means? So our people, they don't know the recent advancement, what that meter is. So they didn't understood exactly technical capabilities, and even our substations are utilities are not yet ready. So lack of skill to the people which are in that particular substations, and lack of readiness in the utilities, because if I want to replace the existing metering infrastructure with the advanced metering infrastructure, we should be ready. In the pilot stage, we are not at all ready. Okay. And one more thing, when they have initialized this advanced metering infrastructure in the pilot stage, the response from the industry, they said that we are not prepared, lack of preparedness. The response was very less. That means, see, if you want to design any metering infrastructure, in the pilot level, what they have done in particular places, knowledge center, some CPRA, small benchmark level models they have designed. Now that has to be modeled in lakhs or crores. But we should have one industry to provide that particular metering infrastructure within that standards. So initial response from the industry was, we are lack of preparedness, because they don't have that facilities, they don't have that parameters, or you may call it as they don't have that components. Okay. And later what happened, the smart meter standards are delayed. 2013 they have started standards, BIS standards they have seen, but whereas then they have designed one benchmark model, then they have got some results, then they have compared with the simulated model. So there are some deviations were happened. Approval, smart meter standards were delayed. So because smart meter standards are delayed, then again there is a delay. Utilities coming out with a different set of specifications. What happened? So when they had given these things to state level distributed companies, everyone has come up with different type of specification. There is no standardization in the specifications for smart meters. Now then they have brought into particular one common platform. Now this they have started doing the uniformity. They are going to get the standardization in the meters. Then one more thing, integration with existing IT system. Lack of support from IT, information technology authorities. Okay, because existing dumb system was there. Now they need to replace everything with the few sensors. It is wired communication now. Wireless they want to do. They need to go for more number of the sensors. Okay, so to integrate with the existing IT systems, lack of support. And one more thing, high L1 cost. L1 cost in the sense lower quotation, no, with respect to the sanction cost. Suppose if you want to go for any tendering, generally in the government organizations, the specification will be finalized. We can't finalize the company name. Suppose if I want to buy any laptop, I should not give company name. I should give the specification. If I give the specification, then what I will give? I will give particular amount, like approximated cost will be given. When approximated cost is given, if I invite any tenders for a particular equipment, the cost quoted by the people, vendors, should be less than my approximated cost. And if those people who whose technical specifications are qualified, suppose 10 members has applied, only 5 technical specifications are qualified, only 5 vendors documents will be opened, then they will check the cost. Then if suppose total amount is who gives the lower one quotation, so it is given to that particular person. But here, whereas when meters are developed and they had given the tenders, huge amount of high L1 cost has come compared to approximated cost. So that is also problem. It is a developing country, so the cost is not the approximate cost, and the vendor's quoted cost is very high. So that's what in the pilot level, lack of skill and readiness in the utilities. Response from the industries is not that much so good. Smart meter standards were delayed, and there are the utilities come up with different standards. Integration of existing IT system was a problem. Then high L1 costs are there. So now in the current stage, it was at the pilot stage. At present stage, now they have provided the awareness. Now testing facilities for smart meters has developed. Interoperability issues and integration with the existing system. That means two-way communication has started. Now communication technology, they are going to improve it. This integration of with existing system. Now the improvement is happened, and adoption of smart grid regulations has started, and business case and smart grid has started. Skill development for utility staff. Under the skill development, this is what the projects, even Atal, so many projects under skill development. You might have known, under skill development, government is giving so much amount of incentives to organize these events like FDPs. Like they have conducted some courses or some programs, short-term courses they have organized for the utility staff. So skill development they have started. That's what under Digital India, Skill India, they are training the people. Okay, so consumer engagement. So at current stage, we are far better. Okay. Opportunities are, industry can join with present industries, private, maybe government industries can join with energy service company, okay, to reduce transmission and distribution loss. And one more thing, 35 million smart meters installation was required by December 2019. That's what that time they had given. Now it is increased also. 4 full-scale projects have started with a worth of 596 crores approved by Government of India, out of which 180 crores were already given. By 2022, 40,000 megawatt of rooftop PV, they thought of planning. Okay, but efficient use of existing sources through smart grid, DSM, demand response, okay, power quality management, peak load management, okay, demand side management, demand response, efficient use of existing sources through the smart grid. What we can do, demand side management, demand response, peak load management, power quality management, everything can be looked after. So that what happened, whenever the demand is there, whenever the demand response is there, I should do the demand management in a better way, in such a way that peak load management should be properly distributed, and I need to maintain the power quality too. Each and everything is related factors. So how efficient your system is working, how intelligent your system is. So these are all the opportunities. And implementing the electric vehicle charging creation, okay, then deployment of smart grid in the smart cities. This is what here. So in this, what we have seen is, just 1 minute, I will go back and I will explain you this, then I will move to another. So here what we have seen, it is a 3-tier structure. Indian smart grid journey, it is a 3-tier structure. Governing council is Ministry of Power. Second tier is technical committee is there, empowered committee is there. Then under NSGM project management unit, policy planning unit is there, data management IC and information technology and communication, which look after data management and cyber security. The input to this both units will be from R&D technology and standards, and also based on this R&D and standards, so they have designed some projects, training is given, they have built some models in consultation with Smart Grid Knowledge Center. So again, those models will be tested and it will be implemented. Okay, so these are the 4 units what we were having. Then state level distributed companies. The main scope is deployment of smart meters, advanced metering infrastructure. This is what gas insulated substations, in the sense by replacing oil circuit breakers, ABCB, we are going to consider SF6 based. One person has asked. The reason why we are considering SF6 is, you might have studied, if I consider oil circuit breakers, the drawback is the fire hazards will be there. If I consider fire hazards, and even the pinching process is very less. And if I consider ABCB circuit breaker, it is just sweep away the molecules. It's a basic power systems. Air blast circuit breakers, it may be axial, radial, or class blast, whatever you may consider. It is just sweeping away the molecule. Deionization will take some time. Whereas if I consider SF6 gas, here the quenching process is faster. How the quenching process is faster is, it not only, it is a gas, as you know, it not only sweep away the molecules, it also neutralizes the molecules. It is an electronegative gas. Sir, someone has asked. Excuse me. Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No. So SF6 is a electronegative gas. And because of this electronegative gas, sir, you can mute it now. I hope. You are there or not, that's why I asked this one. So SF6 is an electronegative gas, which has better quenching capabilities rather than oil circuit breaker and air blast circuit breaker. The reason is, it is not only sweep away the molecules, it also neutralizes the molecules in no time. But drawback also there. What is that? Availability of SF6 and the cost, it is not cost effective at all. But in the modernization, they are looking after the better quenching capabilities. That's why they are going for gas insulated substations. That's it. Then I have deployment of smart meters, advanced metering infrastructure I can go. Then substation automation I can go. Renovation I can go. Then modernization in the sense the communication technology I can add. Then development of distribution generation, DGs, with the help of rooftop or EVs, EV charging infrastructure. And also we have the provision of harmonic filters, power quality improvement measures can be taken care of. So these are the chances what we are having. One more thing is creation of EV charging infrastructure. By creating EV charging infrastructure, I can provide the better supporting. So till date, the journey is this way. First, they have started the 3-tier structure. In the groups they have made. Then they have started the forum. In the forum, what they have done, they have taken the inputs from the stakeholders. Then mutually they have implemented or changed some developments. Then based on these discussions, they have started some pilot projects, 11 smart grid projects and 1 smart grid. And these are all the things are within the Indian standards they have created. So here what they have done, initialization, then 2013, the vision is released. Then 2015, smart meter standards have been published. Then it is approved. Then they have started one benchmark model with the help of CPRI. Then they have seen the functionalities. Then they finalized. Earlier with the simulations they have done with the research knowledge. After this completion of everything, then they have finalized the smart meters after testing process. Then they have implemented these smart grid projects in Chandigarh and Kochi, Jharkhand and Rourkela. So with the help of this, they have seen mostly reduction in the losses, improvement of the availability of the power, then participation of the stakeholders they have seen, then peak load is reduced, improvement in the billing also they have seen. Okay, so this is what the short note they have considered. Advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA. So under integrated power development scheme, earlier it was restructured accelerated power development and reforms unit. So under this, Ajmer, Assam, Mysore, there are 12 places. Okay, these are the functionalities they have considered. So finally, pilot stage were not ready. Utilities are lack of mechanisms, and response was very less from the industry. Standards were delayed, and communication technology is very difficult to keep. Even vendors has come up with high amount of cost. Now, with the help of more skill development schemes, with awareness programs, and with the help of more pilot projects, then testing facilities has improved for smart meters. Then communication, with the help of communication and IT developments, then interoperability issues. That means both the way communication issues were resolved. Then these are the things. Now these things are developed. Now someone has to assess the performance. So now assessment of impact assessment of smart grid pilot projects deployed in India. We are going to see now. Just I'll not take much time. Just 10 minutes. I'll discuss this. Then I will open for the queries. 15 minutes otherwise. Now, why this assessment is required and what survey they have considered? What are the salient findings from the impact assessment? We are going to see. Then what are the major challenges we have faced? Then what will be opportunities? Now, so these 12 projects, pilot projects, and 5 smart grid projects were deployed in India. Okay, so people, what they have decided, so we need some assessment from the third party. So if you see here, Quality Council of India, QCI is Quality Council of India. So NSGM, National Smart Grid Mission, along with the Ministry of Power, has engaged Quality Council of India to assess the impact of implementing smart grid projects at both utility level as well as consumer level. Try to understand. They have engaged Quality Council of India to do the assessment on the projects. What are those projects? There are 9 distribution companies are there. You see here, there are 9 distribution companies are there. These things only. These are distribution companies are there. 1 knowledge center is there, and 1 organization, that is of 1 knowledge center, and 1 smart city is there. Okay. So 9 distributed companies, 1 academic institute, 1 knowledge center they have considered. So they have conducted the mainly on these 9 companies. Okay. Now 9 distributed companies, academic institute, 1 knowledge center, they have did the assessment. Okay. So they have provided the information here. I will tell you what is that. Okay. They have compared or adapted the functionalities with respect to what they have deployed, how the functionalities. So here utility, what they have considered is, when you want to consider anything, first detailed project report will be given. So what are all the functionalities mentioned in the detailed project report? What is provided in the tender document with respect to the current scenario? Viswas is with respect to what are the functionalities mentioned in the detailed project report. When we are going to implement anything, DPR has to be submitted. What is provided in the DPR? In the tender document, what they have received from the industry to implement. It may not be exactly same. And the discussion with the various stakeholders, questionnaires they have considered on particular working capabilities, implementation of it is happened, what is the working functionality. Then utility level, what they have analyzed the reports generated by distributed companies related to this losses, aggregation of technical and consumer losses. I think you know SAIFI and SAIDI. What it mean? The system average interruption frequency index. What it mean? Suppose total average of how much interruptions are happen, how many interruptions, what is the frequency level, how many interruptions were happened, and second one is the duration. First one is SAIFI is system average interruption frequency index. How many interruptions were happened while implementing this? How many interruptions were happened? Second one is duration. D stands for duration. System average interruptions duration. How much time it is existing? Try to understand. Technical and commercial consumer losses are how much it is. And second thing is they have also seen how many type of problems has come. If problem comes, how much time it is persist. So utility level, they have checked the DPR, they have checked the tender documents, they have taken the questionnaire from the stakeholders, they have analyzed the reports of related to the how best the improvement is happened, like how the losses are reduced, efficiency is improved or not, participations are increased or not, how frequent the problem is coming or faults are occurring, or how much duration it is existing. They have seen that. Okay, then coming to the consumer level survey was happened in different distributed companies except this IIT Kanpur and Manesar. Okay, because it is related to one particular what place. IIT Kanpur is a one particular place. Only one place will be there, and Manesar also one particular knowledge center. So their consumers are like, so instead of that, what they have done, a minimum of 50 consumers were surveyed from each 9 distributed companies except these 2. Okay, detailed questionnaire they have done. That questionnaire is, if you want, last it is there. So they have asked about, okay, about all these things. Okay, how frequent faults are coming, how much duration it is there. So is it implementation is better than the previous one or not? Some questionnaires are there. Okay. Now you see, this is what the status. First one is smart grid project in the Guwahati Assam Power Distribution Central Limited. They have implemented, if you see all the projects like Naroda, Panipat, okay, Kala, Mysore, Puducherry, Jidimetla, Agartala, okay, so West Bengal, then IIT Kanpur, Manesar, everyone has implemented advanced metering infrastructure. Everyone has implemented, and Manesar has implemented all the parameters, what it is, advanced metering infrastructure, billing using the advanced metering infrastructure, peak load management, power quality management, outage management, and microgrid operation are DG involvement and DG removal. If suppose in the peak load DG adding and removal, so how it is working? So everything is, knowledge center has implemented everything, but remaining places advanced metering infrastructure has been implemented, but billing using AMI, few places they have implemented, like Kanpur, West Bengal, IIT Kanpur, West Bengal, and Jidimetla they have used. Sorry, this one, Agartala they have used. Remaining places, few places also they have used. But here you can see this, few members have not opted at all. Which one? Microgrid DG operations. But few members have opted, but it is not in use. Try to understand. See here, our Telangana only if you take, they have implemented advanced metering infrastructure, but billing they have not implemented. Okay. Peak load management they have considered, but they are not using it yet to use. Power quality management they have considered. Outage management they have not considered at all, and even DZ they have not opted at. That means PV, rooftop PVs they have not considered, not opted at all. Okay, so this is what the summary of these findings. By testing this advanced metering infrastructure, billing how it is happened, peak load management how it is happened, so power quality management, outage management, some questionnaires they have designed, this QCA. And based on DPR report, they have even checked everything, and they found out total 1.56 lakhs people were there. They have observed reduction in the losses were there. There are integration of smart grid have been achieved, and they have considered peak load management was successful in the testing. Okay, in few places it was successful. Most of the people have developed, but the thing is, they thought of considering wireless communication, but meters with more than one communication modules like have developed. Okay, so I will show you that what it is 1 minute. But out of all these, the major challenges faced are consumers are indexing or poses a challenge in the maintaining the system. Okay, new distribution transformers are there. There is a discrepancy in the billing, like since it is an automated system, there is a discrepancy they have seen in the billing. Okay, and they have also seen regularity challenges are there to implement peak load management, to connect or disconnect particular system. Suppose suddenly if they are disconnecting particular region, there is a problem will happen automatically if they disconnect. So there is implementation of peak load management, connection or disconnection of the system. Okay, integration of smart grid systems. Okay, so there are existing systems are there. So how to replace that one with the integration of these systems? There are some certain issues are there. Okay, and smart meter standards are not yet finalized. So, and choice of communication. Okay, geography wise, is it able to like fit or not? And capacity building and training challenges are there. Okay, new concept, to implement the new concept, we need to give the skill development. Now they have started it, and they are facing certain difficulty. Okay. And one more thing, consumers resistance. What it means, if you want to adapt any new technology, certain challenges will be there. The people should be more patient and they should be resistive. Otherwise, what will happen? There are certain people will involve, and they will create some difficulty to the people to implement new technology. So consumers resistance is also, they have seen they're not that much cooperative. Okay, sometimes when you opt for new technology, definitely failures will happen, but sometimes they have seen if the consumers are got more billing, integration problems are happen, then there are certain communication issues are happen, then they're not resistive. So the flexibility they are going to see. So some challenges they have faced. So now the target is, so the consumers awareness is required. Okay, they're going to educate the consumers about the benefits of smart grid. At present, there are certain problems they may face, but in long run, what is the advantage? What are the benefits of smart grid? They are trying to create the awareness to the consumers as well as utility grids. Okay, so for that one, they are imparting the trainings to improve the skill sets of the people. Okay, and one more thing, they're going to require large number of skilled professionals are required. Okay, if you go to the some remote places, they are just old people will be there, they are unaware of the few things. Okay, research and development they might be not knowing, so they are imparting some training programs to provide to explore the new ideas. Okay, adapting new advancements in the smart grid technology, business process, testing demonstrations, then using the data available through the smart meters, then scaling the pilots to full-scale smart grid projects. This is what next steps. First step is consumers awareness. Second is the distributed companies, who are all the people are there, unskilled professionals are there, to provide the training to them to make them skilled professionals. Then adapting new advancements. Then testing and demonstration functionalities has to be improved. Then data, whatever the data analytics are there are certain mistakes were happened, like consumer indexing, no, so bills were problems were happened, so how to improve that. Okay, then scaling the pilot projects to full scale projects, how to implement in a small scale to very large scale implementations. Okay, these are the impact assessments are there. Okay, I hope these are the things. Now coming to, these are all the things what we have seen is in a central level. In a short note, in 5 minutes, I'll complete a state level project, how we should manage. What are the functions of state level management units? How the expectation, what are the expectations from us? What are the national international collaboration? What are the main global smart grid drivers are there? Smart grid goals, what we are having. So we can see, when you consider state level management unit, these are all the things we have seen for central level, some pilot projects. Now coming to the state, we have SLMP, state level management units we were having. First they have initialized with 19 states. Okay, and first they have submitted vision, DPR they have submitted, no, in the DPR, detailed project report, to implement the smart grid operations. 19 states have come up to implement the smart grid. Okay, so first they should have the vision, they should have a goals, roadmap for the state smart grid activities. That means in a long run, for a sustainable smart grid operations for a longer run, what is the vision of that particular state? Okay, in the first initial phase, how many districts they are going to cover. In the next phase, how many more districts they are going to cover. So first you should have vision, or in the vision they need to consider what metering infrastructure they want, or what type of like peak load management they want, or power quality management they want to consider, or information communication technology they want to consider. So what are the things, what is their vision in a long run? To meet that, what is the present goal? And not only vision, roadmap in the sense to implement that particular goals quarter wise, every 3 months wise, what they are going to implement. Suppose training the people, awareness of the people, to the people, training your staff, then like purchasing the smart meter infrastructure, then next 3 months replacing particular region, small scale, then large scale, like how they have done for small scale pilot projects in the central. Here also they need to start with initially with the small scale. So first one is functions is, we should have the vision, state level, goals, and roadmap has to be provided. So first one is that. Then develop the program proposals and we need to submit. So by keeping this vision, goal and roadmap for a particular 5 years plan or 10 years plan, we need to develop DPR, detailed project report. We need to submit to the NSGM, National Smart Grid Mission. Then they will evaluate, NSGM will evaluate that proposal and from the utilities. Then they will work with state level SERCs to develop the state regulations and policies. Now, our state might have different regulations and policies. Now, by submitting these DPRs, they will work with the state level people. As I told you, if you see here, suppose here distribution companies and with the smart grid cell, I have submitted one particular project to them. Then these, by consulting consumers, local bodies, I have designed my DPR. Now I will submit in consultation with the consultants and advisory bodies in the central level, and in consultation with the knowledge center, I will submit to the NSGM. Now NSGM will discuss with the empowered committee and technical committee, and also they will discuss with the state level people with the mutual discussions. In mutual discussions, they will evaluate first programs from the trained people. Then with the mutual discussions, they will create the state regulations and policies they will develop. If suppose any policies are not up to the mark, not within the standard, or not in coordination with the central level, they will try to explain. So then they will work on the regulations and policies, adaptation of smart grid standards, then monitoring the impact of smart grid activities. So first what we have, vision is required, then DPR we are submitting, they will evaluate and they will work with us, state level people. Then we will adapt the smart grid standards and we will acquire the smart meters, everything. Then we will try to keep them and then we will monitor the impact. These are the functions of state level project management units. Now, what are the expectations from us is, when we are implementing and monitoring smart grid projects, how to implement it, what to monitor, what standards need to be monitored, voltage, frequency, or how much amount of load is there, how much, when the peak load is coming, when the quality issue is coming, how much power quality standards you are maintaining, okay, and which one is out, and when, from which feeder the load is increasing, from which feeder load is less, like everything. While implementing, is it feasible or not? How excess power is coming, or how excess financial things are coming into the picture. Then entire thing, implementation and monitoring smart grid project has to be done. These are the expectations from the state level people. Like central, NSGM is expecting from the state level units is, so what is your methodology? How you are going to implement this? And what are the parameters you are monitoring? They will see that. Then process of change based on learning, like what is the methodology or what is the process you are following, how to restructure your power system. Okay, adapting the dynamic tariffs. So how earlier flat rate tariffs are there, now how you will consider the dynamic tariffs, like automated billing, everything. So how your consumer engagement initiatives and programs, how to create the awareness. Suppose not only considering this not a matter, sometimes what happen when you are going to install new metering infrastructure, there is a power discontinuity may happen, there are some power outages may happen. So the consumers should know there is advancement is happening, even though there are certain outages may happen, but it should be for future betterness of the future. So we need to provide the awareness programs in such a way that there should not be any rebellism among the people. Okay, and large scale rollout of smart metering, a coordination among the various schemes for sustainable outcomes. Okay, so when you want to implement certain things, then we need to coordinate with the people. Then funding for smart grid projects through the innovative business models. These are the expectations people are seeing, not only implementing, how we are implementing, so how smooth you are doing, how we are changing, doing the methodology, how we are involving the people, how you are giving the awareness. Then after that, are your people are skilled enough or not to implement that? Are you really coordinating? Suppose today we got some project, suppose next year suddenly some few more advancements have happened, something is a new thing is developed, so we need to coordinate with the people, we need to adapt a sustainable meters into your network. This is what the expectations from the people. So that's what here. So national international collaboration is, there are two things are there. International Smart Grid Action Network is there, mission innovation is there. Two parameters are there. So International Smart Grid Action Network will look after case studies, case benefits analysis, technical and discussion papers, inventory development, policy insight, transitional changes, research testing labs, protocols. Okay, so Innovation Smart Grid Network, they are looking after the case studies, technical and discussion papers, inventional developments, and what are all the research and testing labs they are looking. But whereas innovation, mission innovation, they have associated with the DST for Smart Grid Sustainable Solutions. So what they are doing is, under DST SERB scheme, if you observe clearly, under SERB scheme, there are ECR, Early Career Research Project, EMR is there, now Core Research Grant, CRG it is called as. And they have created few more Supra is there. Now under this, they had initialized some core areas, thrust areas they are giving. Mission innovation. Under this, they have associated with the DST for Smart Grid Sustainable Solution. And they are inviting some projects on Smart Grid, EVs, PVs. Okay. Photovoltaics, grid integration with PVs, grid integration with EVs, EV charging infrastructure, battery management system, and smart grid challenges. So now they have associated with the DST, they are working on it. One thing is, mainly Smart Grid Action Network is looking after the case studies, technical papers. What is the recent analysis has happened? That means entire R&D, research and development, what is happening. International Smart Grid, this is looking after overall, like worldwide, what is happening. The mission innovation is under this, they have tie up with DST, the projects they are giving. Okay, Smart Grid. Okay, then what they will do, they are not only they have associated screening the proposal under DST funding opportunity areas. Okay, demand response, off-grid access of electricity. Okay, so they have started working with the DST and they're expecting some project proposals. Is it clear? So R&D is looking after mainly two things. One is mission innovation. Under this, they are getting the projects and they are working on it. And second thing is, they are looking after the technical papers and what transition changes will happen, research labs and case studies, some patents. What are the new patents on smart grid? By doing this, they are with the stakeholders and they are looking after the CEA standards and BAS standards, power grid standards. By looking after everything, they are finalizing the grid standards. That's what. Okay. So the drivers are reliability improvements is required. Reliability should be improved. Okay. Power quality is improved. Power system restoration is required. Network adequacy, efficiency we are looking after. That means optimization we are looking after, and economic aspects we are also seeing. Cost should be reduced. Environmental parameters. See, to implement that, one is reliability parameter we should look after. Second one is obviously losses should be reduced, efficiency should be improved. Third one is, it is a developing country, it should be cost effective. When you implement all these things, not only reliability, efficiency and economic aspects, it should be environmental friendly. That is the reason CO2 emission should be reduced. That's why EV came into the picture. I'm stopping, don't worry, in 2 minutes. And by doing so, as I told you, reliable and quality power, the security also very, very important. Security parameter also they have considered. Okay, secure and safety power along with these advancements, cross cuttings. Okay, so these are the top 6 rank motivation drivers. What is that is, there are in each individually there are certain we have taken. No, top 6 rank system efficiency improvements we are seeing, reliability improvements, renewable energy standards, enabling new products, enabling customer choice, and reducing maintaining costs. These are the main top rank motivational factors. Energy efficiency improvements, reliability improvement, renewable energy standards, enabling new products or services, customer choice, enabling new products in the sense EVs, PVs, everything, smart meters, smart grids, or advanced metering infrastructure, everything. Energy standards, reliability, and reducing the cost. Thank you. Yes, now open to queries. Sorry for the long. So on a whole, we have seen our main target is to get a secure, adaptive, sustainable, digital enabled power is required to make reliable and quality power for all the stakeholders. Okay, thank you. Ramesh.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now it's open to questioning. Participants you may ask. Sir, there are 3 questions there in the chat box. Can you please go on?
1 minute. Let me see. Is there any range of values mentioned in the impact assessment? What is the gas insulated substation? I have already explained. Okay, no.
And what
Yes, that's okay.
matrices are?
First one is gas insulated substations. So I have already answers. We are going to replace it with SF6 circuit breakers. Okay. So by doing
Yes, sir.
so,
In the subsequent slides, we have done it.
okay. And second one is
Yes.
what are the metrics for optimization in the network optimization? Okay. So what they have considered is optimization network. If you go to cea.nic.in, Central Electricity Authority of India, recently they have added few more metrics like what optimization is required, like how much reliable power is required. And even this one also, is there any range of values mentioned in the impact assessment? In the impact assessment, what they have considered is, 1 minute. The range they have not given, but yet they have seen on 1 second. I'll show you that. How much is that? See this one. Have you able to see this? See, they have considered these metrics. They have considered these metrics. What is that? Optimization, no? System efficiency improvement, reliability. These are the metrics they have considered. Under this, there are so many parameters they have considered. Advanced metering infrastructure, distributed integration. These are all the metrics what they have considered for implementation. But ranges, no, they are at finalizing. But first they are considering these are all the metering infrastructures as well as you see here. This slide, if you're able to see, I can increase this size, I think. You see here.
Yes, yes, it is visible. Yes.
Can you able to see this? Now,
Yes, sir.
now you see here fault detection, identification, restoration. Under this reliability, there are metrics are there. What is that? How the fault detection is happening? Identification, how much time is taking? For restoration, how much time is taking? FDIR. And distribution management system, outage management. Okay. How the integration should happen? So under these factors, there are few more metrics they have considered. Even RE standards, renewable energy, wind, PV, hydropower, enabling new technology, smart homes. These are all the metrics what they have considered under 1111 top rank. These are all the things what they have considered. They are working on it, but they have not at last question. No, what are the range values? They are still working on it. These are the advanced topics, so they are still working on it. The ranges were not there. If ranges are finalized, it will be given in CEA, Central Electricity of Authority, India. So in that, they will produce it. At present, this is what the data which is available in that. So with that, what they are doing is, if you see here, because time was not permitted, so I have shown this much. 1 minute. Now can you able to see this? Now you see.
Yes, sir.
So phase 1, what we have implemented is SLMP units were 100% implemented. Smart grid regulations were implemented. But in the phase 2, smart grid roadmap not yet finalized. And smart grid roadmap prepared by utilities not yet done. Just cells were formed. The smart grid cells were formed. Now they have not at all roadmap not submitted. They are telling assessment is like framework was completed. but utility level, nothing was implemented, nothing was done also. So that's why what they're doing is PDCA cycle. You plan, that means design it. PDCA is plan, do, check and analyze. What it mean? Design it, work on it. You check the controlling parameters, what failures are happening, what are the constraints of the load, what is the tripping incidents were happen. Just analyze the things. Just you design the network, work on the network, plan on the network, or work on the new network additions or removals or smart grid applications or standalone applications. Then check the failures and analyze those failures. So PDCA is plan, do, check, analyze. So it is a continuous process is going on. So at present, these metrics were, I didn't found at all. In my personal level, I didn't found, but these are the metrics what they have considered. These are the metrics. Okay. Thank you. I don't know how much it is reached to you. At least we have seen what are the limitations of a grid, and then what are the essential elements need to be considered. Then three-day structure of Indian smart grid we have seen. Journey till date what we have seen. Then pilot projects we have seen, and overall wise we have seen. Then assessment how they have done. It is utility side and consumer side what they have initialized. Then they have implemented few things. Just they have seen metrics were not given in that. Then after that, they have seen coming to the state level, they had given particular these things. Okay, top 5 ranked metrics they have given for each and every smart grid driver. They have considered these metrics. Okay, thank you.
Any other participants want to ask questions?
Sir, I have one more question.
Yes, yes, go on.
Sir, you said during the course of the lecture, you said there is a discrepancy between the actual reading and the build reading. For example, in Monitor.
One thing I'll tell you, sir. Okay, I'll tell you, sir. Actual reading is, suppose what is happening is when they are considering the system. Suppose earlier you are having build with 1,000 rupees. Let us consider 1,000 rupees you are considered. Suppose these automated meters, no, instead of 1,000, they might have considered maybe 2,000. Reason is theft may happen nearby. It may consider the power flowing from that particular feeder to your house. In the middle, any theft is happening. It may wrongly note that values also. Like meters are not standardized. Only it may be calibration errors might be there. Sometimes what happens, sir? If you have a machines lab now, every year you are doing the calibration of your system. Why we will do the calibration? Because these are after all electronic equipments which may give the wrong readings, isn't it or not?
Yes.
Sometimes what happens, if you consider advanced metering infrastructure also, if calibrations are not proper, there is a chance of billing, maybe proper billing may come. Sometimes what happened, some news also you have seen, some metering, no, some 2 lakh rupees bill has come, instead of 2,000, 3 lakh rupees bill has come. Just wrong numbers, there is a chance of wrong data entries or wrong, some miscommunication may happen. Just they need to work on it. That input it has given. Input it has given.
So the chances of occurring is very remote.
Manual is more chances, but it will be reduced with the help of advanced metering infrastructure. It will be reduced, but we need to see there should not be any mismatching of data. There should not be any the misleads. You understood? No, just the input they have taken from the stakeholders. That's it. While implementing.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other participants want to ask questions?
So that's why what they have done now, even EV also, no, FAME India schemes they have considered, but time is not permitted. I could not take that one. FAME India schemes are there. Okay.
It's okay, sir. You have covered a lot.
Difficult.
Anyone else want to ask?
Maximum I tried. I don't know how much they received. I don't know.
Sir, one person asking, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sir.
Sir, actually, what is the current Indian policy related to the smart grid, sir? Because there is a policy which is not making the smart grid as a distribution generation. What we are discussing currently, is there any policy which is encouraging these kind of new system, sir? I mean, where we can get the policy kinds of data, sir?
Sir, see, if you see, sir, even smart grid, no rooftop, they are giving encouraging, no villages. Have you seen a rooftop? They are giving the incentives to the people, village people. Have you observed?
Yes, sir.
Rooftop. Second thing, sir, you know there is a FAME India scheme, faster adaptation of manufacturing hybrid electric vehicles. So under rooftop, they have given some incentives for developing the integrated PV system. Okay, they are making it a smart home. One is related to PV. Government has encouraged a rooftop. If you see the villages, they have encouraged to the people who is having less income. It may not be to the everyone. Some villages they have provided also. Now rooftop PV they have encouraged and they have given some incentives. Whereas electric vehicles also, there is a FAME India scheme is there, fast adaptation of manufacturing hybrid electric vehicles. Under this scheme, the duration is of 5 years. 10,000 crores is allotted to hybrid electric vehicles incentives. You know, but unfortunately, 1 minute, I will share that to you. 1 minute. Unfortunately, we the people, what happened? Only 300 crores only utilized. I will show you that. 1 minute slide. I will show you. Can you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
This 1 minute. I'll show you. Now, this is the charging infrastructure. Integration of EV PV. I will show you 1 minute. See, this is the FAME India scheme. If you observe, in the year of 2013, they have started. 2015, it is came into the implementation. It is a budget of 10,000 crores. If you see here, 10,000 crores, it has started. But,
Okay.
but 1 minute, I'll show you. Their target is 10 lakh vehicles. The 2 lakh vehicles only we have purchased, sir. Okay. And you see state-wise, how many vehicles are purchased? 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers. So state-wise, how many has purchased also they are given. In Andhra, 9,000 only. In Telangana, 9,000 vehicles. Okay.
Okay, sir.
See, and here, what I want to show you is only 359 crores was utilized.
Okay, sir.
But the budget was 1 minute, somewhere it is 10,000 crores, sir. Budget was somewhere here, you can see. With a promising budget of, you see here 10,000 crores.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 10,000 crores. So even the schemes are there, lack of awareness is there. So that is the reason we people are unable to utilize those policies. That's it, I mean to say. So that's why awareness is required. So out of 10,300 crores we have utilized, in the sense you try to understand. And FAME 2 scheme already started. One more thing I'll tell you. First phase was completed in the, now second phase is started in the year of 2019. First phase 10,000 crores, no 300 crores only utilized. Remaining 9,700 crores was transferred to other schemes. Where it goes also no one knows.
Okay, sir.
And now again they have started 2019. FAME India second scheme is started, and again budget of, you see here, 71 crores only till now they have utilized. Now this is, what is this? This is the month of June. Till now 71 crores only we have utilized. Under 10,000 crores, 3 years project it is. It is 7,000 buses, 5 lakh 3-wheelers, 55,000 4-wheelers, okay, 10 lakh 2-wheelers. Total of vehicles till now is 26,000 only people have purchased.
Okay, sir.
Got my point? Even
Yes, sir.
government is giving the incentives, but we were not knowing. That's what I mean to tell you. But policies are there, they are trying to implement, but there lack
Okay,
of
sir.
awareness. I mean to say that's it. Okay. If you
Thank you,
see
sir.
the CEA, you can understand, sir, that website. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the informative. Thank you.